Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Recruitment Industry World Cup info dump. How are you, chaps?
Very good. Man United fan. So
well, I know. It seems it wasn't planned, but it's worked out beautifully, hasn't it? On this four-way chat, there is one Liverpool fan, brilliant, and three Man United fans. So let's take a second to gloat.
What did they say? One swallow doesn't make a summer, though, does it?
Oh, yeah. Stop it! Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. You know we deserve it.
But does that mean so, Simon? You're a Geordie by the sounds of things.
I'm a Mackem, yeah, and
Mackem.
I fell in love with Brian Robson when I was a boy. He opened a shoe shop in Sunderland. I loved him so much. I even tried to dislocate my shoulder just to be like him. So Brian Robson was the one who I was obsessed with there, and that kind of led me to Man United. And 25 years of absolute joy, and followed by 8 years of
yeah.
Well, you made my life hell as a kid, like Liverpool.
Well, I mean, I went down to Anfield when I was like 4. My brother took me down because he was Kenny Dalglish era, so went down and I loved it. So I came back a Liverpool fan. I got absolutely ruined in Newcastle for it, but yeah, I always had the gloating. So,
well, I was going to say the only actual person on this chat who's from the place that they support is Paul, who's a Manc. The rest of us are just tag-alongs. Let's be brutally honest.
He's from Bury, aren't you, Paul? You know Bury.
I am from Bury. Yeah, well, that's actually classified as Greater Manchester. So I'm 20 minutes away from Old Trafford, which isn't that far, really, is it, in the grand scheme of things? But you either go one or two ways. First of all, you support your local club if you're from Greater Manchester, whether that's Bury, Oldham, Rochdale. That's where your dad takes you because he can't afford the tickets. And then you end up either choosing blue or red. So I'm a United fan, and I'm like you, Simon. I supported when they first got the first Premiership. Robbo played in that season, didn't he? And
yeah, he did. Yeah,
just been glorious years ever since. But unfortunately, the last 8 years have been a bit of pain.
Have you ever met Brian Robson, Paul?
I haven't, no. But I'm going to sound like a bit of an ego guy here, but I played against Man United in a pre-season game at Carrington and played against the whole entire squad. So Ronaldo, Rooney. This was in 2003, 2004. Wow. Ronaldo, Rooney, Giggs, Scholes. But my one player hero that I never played against was Roy Keane. So he was injured at the time. But yeah, no, I've been close to players, but never been close to Robbo. Just a bit before my time, that.
Paul, can I just say, obviously I met Roy Keane recently. Me and him are very good mates now. Me and him are good mates. He's in my phone. I text him regularly. But Simon Hare reckons he's going to trump that meeting. It's all covert and secret squirrel. He won't tell me who, but he reckons he's going to trump that meeting soon.
Yeah.
It can only be the big man.
Fingers crossed. Watch this space.
He's gone all coy. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Have you met Robbo, Simon? It sounds
I did, yeah. That was I think he opened a shoe shop in Sunderland at the time called New Balance, and I queued for hours, and I opened up my big, you remember Shoot magazine? I had this big size picture of him in the England strip and whatnot. And I opened that up and he signed it, and he signed a postcard, which I've still got. And I've got a signed shirt of his, and then I went out of the shoe shop right back to the beginning of the queue and queued again for another few hours and got to the front, and his manager at the time was like, haven't you been in already? And I absolutely bricked it. And he was like, yeah, you've been in already. And then Brian Robson just I remember he touched me, he went, it's all right, son, I'll sign something else for you. And he signed another card for me. And I just remember that was it. Do you know what I mean?
That was it. Hooked. Good. Love it.
Boys,
I just love John Anna Reset because I'm ginger. So there you go.
Right, boys. Thank you so much for doing this. The World Cup, the actual World Cup, is around the corner, and in the build-up to the wonderful tournament that's happening, we're obviously hosting the Recruitment World Cup, and as it stands today, 23 recruitment teams have signed up, and I'm looking for one extra one in Sydney. So just putting the word out there, I need one more team for Sydney, which will take it to, no, sorry, forgive me. It's 14 to, so it's 27 have signed up, and need one more for Sydney to take it to 28. I'm getting lots of questions about, you know, rules and locations and what's happening on the day. So I just thought I'd do a quick info dump with certain representatives from Sydney, Melbourne, and the officialdom. And so let me introduce you. So let's start with James. Now, James, I've very unprofessionally been mispronouncing your name for the last couple of weeks. I've been calling you James Fairy. I apologise for that. Would you like to introduce yourself, mate, very quickly?
Yeah, mate. So it's James Ferry, and actually the ferry thing brought back some traumatic memories from a swimming gala when I was younger. They called me Fairy over the announcement, and I got ripped for it for ages. And the guys in the office have been taking the piss ever since he said that, but all good. Yeah, so I'm the managing partner of Just Digital People. So we've got a team of hopefully winners. Yeah, we've got, you know, team of, I think we've got 6 in total to play. So we've got 1 sub, if that's allowed.
Right, yeah, I'll come on to subs and ringings in a bit. Can I just say, James? So James is the representative from Melbourne. He's in those boys are playing in Melbourne. I got a cheeky little email from the manager of the Just Digital People team saying we'd like a bigger gap between our last game and the semi-final. Very, very confident, which would suggest that they expect to go at least to the semi-final. Right, James, thanks for being on board. Then we've got Paul O'Shaughnessy. Now, Paul's an interesting cat because he's representing Sydney today. Paul will tell you who he is, but the introduction of his team, because apparently they're all right at football. Apparently there's a couple of players who've played a little bit of football every now and then. The introduction of his team has created what we are dubbing the group of death, because you're going to have to get past these guys. So Paul, please introduce yourself, my friend.
Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, Paul O'Shaughnessy. I started Matt Talent around about 7 years ago. I've got a team of 10, so small agency. And yeah, it's luck would have it. I come from like a professional football background, so I kind of gravitate towards an athlete or somebody who's kind of been in that zone of high performance, and managed to recruit one guy, and then all of a sudden he recruited a few of his mates. So we've ended up with what looks like a really, really top 5-a-side team. We've not played together yet, so the proof's in the pudding. But yeah, we've got a good side. But I just wanted to say first and foremost, like, it's just, I think what you're doing here, Pete, is class, mate. I think getting involved in Eat Up Australia, being part of that, obviously dedicating this experience to charity is the most important thing. And yeah, we've got a good few players who can play a bit, but we're not going to turn up there and, you know, try and absolutely dominate and get our egos out and all that kind of stuff. It's not about that. We're going to go down there, have some fun, and see if we can compete and have a good laugh.
Well, mate, well, thank you for your kind comments. You should know that behind your back, there's been a petition going around the industry. We've petitioned to secure a ruling that MAP talent players can only play with their left feet for the full duration of the tournament. As it stands, we've got, I'm just checking, 482 signatures. So mate, yeah, left feet.
You might want to change that. They're all left-footed. I was joking. But nah, look, we've got Jessie as well. Like, people forget, like, we've got Jessie who's our at this stage, shamefully, our only female. We're trying to change that as much as we can. But Jessie will be playing in the tournament as well. It's going to be good. And yeah, I think, like, if we can do, obviously, clearly we've got good pedigree, but 5-a-side competition is very different, Pete. And I'm sure the boys will agree. You know, you can shoot from anywhere. It's fast paced. These guys all play 11-a-side, including myself. So who knows on the day? Should be fun though.
Hopefully you bomb, but we'll see.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Everybody is like, we're Man United of the old era, not the new era. So yeah.
Thank you,
Paul. Everyone wants us to lose. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. And next, there's some irony in this next introduction. The gentleman in the corner with he's always so pristinely turned out, which is fitting of the role that he's playing in the Recruitment World Cup. This gentleman, ironically, was the only person to get booked in the last tournament. went in a bit double-footed, if I recall. And the irony is, Simon, can you explain what role you will be playing in this year's Recruitment World Cup?
I think I'm the director of refereeing, aren't I? I'm there to referee a few games, keep an eye on the standards of the other referees, and just basically kind of director of referee. And that was what I was told anyway. So very much looking forward to that.
If that's what you want to call yourself, you can call yourself that, my friend. But Simon here, Managing Director of Precision Sourcing, is very, very kindly. He's not playing. Apparently, he's too old or too broken, one or the other.
Too good.
But very kindly volunteered to be referee for the day. And Simon, as a referee, what are your 2 favourite words?
Play on. I'm very much from the old school of letting the game flow, and I see things from a defender's point of view, being a defender myself. And I think there's nothing wrong with leaving a little bit on somebody every now and then, letting them know they're in a game, and especially in the first few minutes. And I like to let things go, as long as it's not too over the top, it's safe. But I'm a referee from the 1970s, if that makes sense, maybe the 1980s as well. So I'm a more traditional referee.
Brilliant.
Love that.
So Simon is going to go through the rules in a little bit. So I'm just going to run through some information. If anything doesn't make sense to you boys, this is the opportunity for you on behalf of the recruitment industry to pipe up and ask a question. I've gone through as much information as I can. Shouldn't take long. But let me start with the 2 main questions that I'm getting regularly, which are, is this indoors or outdoors? It is most definitely indoors. Look, I know it's in November and I thought, well, the weather's going to be good. Maybe we should do this outdoors, but it only takes a change in the weather to scupper the whole event. So the event is definitely indoors. So anybody watching this who doesn't yet have some indoor futsal shoes, or at least some decent trainers, go and get some. Having said that, I did hear from the Sydney venue that they've had quite a few problems with leaks in their roof recently. So if the rain is heavy in Sydney, there's a chance that there's going to be some wet patches on the pitch, which could be a disaster, but we'll cross our fingers that doesn't happen. The other question I'm getting regularly is this a mixed event? Well, of course it is. Of course it is. We want to see as many girls as boys playing. I suspect, unfortunately, that might not be the case on the day, but this is definitely a mixed event, and we want every team to encourage as many girls and boys to come along and have some fun, as many as possible. The more the merrier. It's definitely a mixed event. Right, let's start with the venues and the times. The first tournament is taking place on Friday, the 4th of November, 9:45 till 3. We've had to tweak the times ever so slightly because basically we've got more teams involved. So at the 11th hour, we had all the big boys jump in. We had Hayes, Michael Page, who put in 2 teams, and Robert Half all jumped in. So the global companies are coming along with some strong representation as well. 9:45 till 3. The schedule has already been released from Melbourne, but I'm going to text that out to everybody. So on the day, everybody will have access to the schedule. There's no excuses to be late to the pitch. It's a strict 3 o'clock finish because the facility has other people coming in. The venue is MSAC Centre, which everybody should know. It's the massive sports facility at Albert Park, South Melbourne. So we're going to leave at 3 o'clock, but we're going to go straight to the pub. The Limerick Arms are expecting us at 3:15. So hopefully we're going to have a good gathering down there and a good chat after the event. I'd like to make this request to everybody, Melbourne and Sydney, even when, as we come towards the end of the event, for the last hour, it's only going to be the teams that have done well that are going to progress to the semi and the final. But I would love it if everybody could just stick around for that last hour so that you are still there in attendance for the presentation, which is 15 minutes before we leave the venue. So even if your team gets sadly kicked out of the tournament, please stick around for the presentation. It is a polite request before we go to the pub. At MSAC in Melbourne, there are changing facilities available. There is a food and drink kiosk right next door, which they are opening for us at 10 a.m. And this is a no alcohol event. James, any questions apart from you need a little bit more of a breather before the semi because you're obviously going to progress to the semi?
Yeah, I mean, the gaffer's confident. We're signed up to we've got an indoor futsal league that we've joined. So we won 13-3 the week before last, and we won 9-0 last week. So I scored 6. I've scored 9 in 2 games, and I'm usually a centre back. I mean, I think that's more the standard that we're playing against, to be honest, than anything else. But
who's in confidence?
One of the things is that I played Albert Park before, and that roof also does leak as well. So hopefully no rain in Melbourne.
At the MSAC?
Yeah, it does. We were playing there a few weeks ago, and it leaked quite badly. So
okay,
it doesn't happen.
Well, we're taking down mops then on the day, but we've booked the show courts, which are quite beautiful, glamorous basketball courts, which we've got to ourselves. So it's a beautiful venue. It really is down at MSAC. Right, moving on to Sydney. So the event is on Friday the 11th, 11:30 till 5 p.m. at the KGV Centre in the Rocks. Again, the event finishes promptly at 5 o'clock. There is a pub right across the road, the Australian, and I seem to remember last time that pub was pretty much rammed after the World Cup last time, and we all sat around and had a great drink and a great chat. Again, please stay till the end so you can see the presentation. There are change facilities available. This is a no alcohol event, and there actually isn't much of a food and drink situation available at the KGV Centre as well. So maybe, Simon, bring some Vegemite sandwiches. Right, staff on the team. I just want everybody to know this is going to be a well-staffed event. We have a team of 2, 3. We have a team of 6. So there is myself, who will just be milling about, getting in the way, being a knobhead, might jump on the microphone, do some commentating, whatever, just make sure everything's running smoothly. We have 2 experienced referees. Can't say the same about Sydney, Simon. We have 1 referee's assistant. That is somebody who will be standing in the middle, notching down fouls, scores, golden boot, nominees or potentials, all that kind of stuff. We have a team harasser. I couldn't think of a better name. But we have quite a tight schedule in both venues. We have like 2-minute gaps between games. So I've got somebody who's going to be walking around making sure that the team know well and truly in advance that they need to get their asses down to the pitch and get ready to jump on the pitch. That person might even have a megaphone. I bought a megaphone, just can't work out how to make it work. We have a photographer. Everybody's going to get team photos done against the specially commissioned media board, which I promise will look way more professional than this. And then we have Lyndon Gallia, the CEO of Eat Up Australia, who is going to be milling around and just helping out and just chatting as well. In the event that the referees need a gap or a break or a rest, myself and Lyndon will step in to do the occasional game. All right. Any questions? Paul, as representatives of Sydney, does that all make sense?
It does, mate, yeah. Well, how long's the games?
Right. So the qualifiers, I've got this here. The qualifiers are, so there's going to be 6 round-robin games. Right. The games are going to be 10-minute games, no halves. We're not going to mess around with halves. We'll just do solid 10-minute games. Semi's going to be 15 minutes. And the final's going to be 15 minutes. So if you go all the way, you'll play 8 games totaling 90 minutes.
Jeez, decent run out.
Yeah, hope so. I mean, look, it's I'd love to be giving everybody 3 hours game time, but it'll be fast and furious because of the fact that we've got 2 pitches running alongside each other. The gaps between your games won't be much, so there won't be hopefully that much sitting around. But if you're shit, if your team is shit, you'll play 6 games of 10 minutes each, but hopefully have fun sitting at the sides. Right, the ring-in rule. Everybody's keen to hear about the ring-in rule. So happy for every team to have 1 ring-in per team. Now, I put that rule in place because there was a scandal last year. 4 years ago in Melbourne. I think it's well known that Future You, they put in a team at the 11th hour, and halfway through the day, I was looking at this team. I was thinking, my God, they're brilliant. They're brilliant, but they're really young. So I went to one of the directors of Future You and said, "Who are these kids? Like, what kind of recruiters are they?" He went, "Oh, no, they're not recruiters. We managed to ring in 4 under-19 international futsal players." and they smashed Sharp and Carter in the final. So hoping that kind of thing doesn't happen this time around with the ring-in rule. So 1 ring-in per team. Ideally, that ring-in will be a recruiter.
I was just going to ask, do they have to be a recruiter? But yeah,
doesn't have to be. But you know what? It'd be nice if they were a recruiter. It'd be nice if they were alumni from your company who've maybe moved on. For example, Ethos Beat Chapman have rung in a guy called Ashley Summers, and Ashley played for Constructive last time around, and he won the Golden Boot. So that's a nice ring-in. But I will say that the ring-in does not qualify for the Golden Boot award. The Golden Boot can only go to a recruiter. Now then, Simon, I think at this juncture, I'll go to you in your official capacity as referee. Would you be kind enough to break down the rules on the pitch on the day, please? Definitely.
But before I do that, Pete, you're serious about commentating, because I saw your LinkedIn post before with that guy with the megaphone at your son's football, I think. So you're going to do that, aren't you? You're going to recreate that vibe. You are that guy.
Yeah. If somebody gives me a microphone and I'm feeling the vibes and things are going well and I'm not stressed out, I'll be grabbing the microphone without a shadow of a doubt.
Good. All right.
Good, mate.
So here's the rules. So no sliding tackles, which breaks my heart to say, because I've kind of made a football career out of doing that, but no sliding tackles. You can lunge, and you can kind of lunge to block, if that makes sense, if somebody's going to shoot, that type of thing. Like I say, I'm kind of a big fan of defending. You can slide if, for example, the ball's going to cross the line, you've got no one around you, and you want to kind of make one of those last gasp kind of blocks, if you know what I mean. You're sliding along the line to stop it going in. You can do that, but just as long as there's not a player there and you're doing a kind of classic sliding tackle, that's not allowed.
Put your body on. That's classified as put your body on the line. Love that.
Put your body on the line. Yeah.
No, I like that.
Yeah, you can't do that classic Bobby Moore sliding tackle that he did against Pele, I think it was, back in the day in the World. No tackles from behind. By that, we're talking about the classic wallop from behind. You can obviously put a foot in or kind of stretch and get in there, but none of that kind of classic tackling from behind. If you're on the floor, you've been tackled, you've fallen over, whatever it might be, you can't kick the ball on the floor. That would be an immediate free kick. The goalie can't pick up the ball from a back pass. So if the goalie rolls the ball out to you and then you find yourself under a bit of pressure, you roll it back to the keeper has to get rid of it and kick it out. They can't pick it up at all or use their hands. If the same team has 5 fouls against them in the game, that'll be a penalty to the other team. Pete, glad to hear that. I won't be tracking that myself. You'll have helpers. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
When the ball goes out of play, there won't be a throw-in. It'll be a kick back into play from exactly where the ball went out of play. Pete, can you just confirm that you do have corners as well?
Oh, yes, you do. In futsal, you do. Yeah, so yes, there will be corners.
Yeah? You sure?
100%.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. When the ball does go out of play and you've got a corner or you've got a kick in, you've got 5 seconds to kick that ball in. If you don't do that, it'll be a turnover to the other team. If a team is 1 minute late onto court, they're penalised 1 goal, and it'll be for every. So, for example, if they're 3 minutes late, that'll be 3 goals. 4 minutes late, 4 goals. So that's how that will work. So people need to get organised and get themselves ready, because I'm going to be a right Karen with that, because Pete has got a very strict schedule he needs to keep to, and that's it.
Good man. Good man. Is that clear? Is that clear, team captains?
Yeah.
Still clear.
Yeah. One question do you have? Can you go overhead height? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can.
Cool.
And Pete, are you going to have that classic yellow furry ball, or is it a different ball?
The balls are provided by the facility. Futsal balls are usually a little bit heavier, aren't they?
Yeah.
Smaller as well, the size.
Smaller and heavier. Is that what you've been playing with, James, when you've been scoring your 9 goals per game?
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
I will clarify. All right, we've just lost Simon, but that's all right. We'll carry on. Oh, go on, Paul.
I was going to ask Simon actually, but wait until he pops back on.
All right.
Cool. It's just about his experience getting a yellow. So what's I might as well ask you, Pete. Like, what happens when you get a yellow? Is it a sin bin or is it just a warning?
Right. I am just pulling Simon back on,
guys,
because Simon is the best person. Go on, Paul. Ask Simon that question, please.
Yes, Simon. I'm just asking about your experience when you got a yellow last time. Did you get sin binned for that, or is it just a clear warning, or what's the process when you get a yellow to a sending off? Yeah,
yellow is just a classic warning, really. Kind of calm down a little bit, and then obviously if they continue, they're then sent off.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So there was no sin bin.
Simon, I don't know if you need to put your phone wonky, phone sideways. Doesn't really matter. All right, cool. So those are the rules. Thank you, Simon. Right. I'm very quickly going to cover the awards and what we're playing for. I'm going to start with, I'll start with this. Hopefully you can see that. That is the Golden Boot. Mint Recruitment brand on the band. I didn't actually know they were going to do that, but I'm so happy that they did.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, really nice.
And do you know where I got it from? Manchester. You could only get it. I could only get this in Manchester. I could only source that in Manchester. So that is the Golden Boot, and that will be going to the player in each state who very simply scores the most goals, but has to be a recruiter and not a ring-in. Then this, I love this one, right? I'll be honest. When I ordered it, I thought it was a bit bigger, but who cares? This is the Spirit Award. I need to make sure you can see it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right. I thought it was going to be the size of a Jenga, but it's a little bit smaller. So that is that's the Spirit Award. That will be given to the team who comes along, plays the game in the best spirit, has fun, has a smile on their face, just has a bit of a laugh and brings a bit of a party atmosphere and just enjoys the day. They might not necessarily be the best football team. They probably won't progress to the knockout stages. But what they win is not only that beautiful little mini Jenga statue, but they also win a corporate event which will be hosted at their offices by Eat Up. So Eat Up come to your office. They'll clear out a couple of desks, and they basically do what they do, which is they make a shitload of sandwiches with you and your team, and those sandwiches are packaged, frozen, sent to underprivileged schools for kids who are going to school hungry and without food in their bellies. So Eat Up will come to your place of work, and that corporate event, by the way, is usually valued at about $2,500. So it's worth winning because you get to do a very good thing. And then finally, gentlemen, this is on offer. I can't see it because of that dodgy camera. I'll tell you what, stand up. That is the World Cup. It's the
amazing.
It's a beautiful replica.
Beautiful.
See if you can read that.
Lovely.
Nice.
Pete, your billings must have gone up a lot because you've really upped the ante since the last one. We must be paying you too much. Your fees must be too big, I reckon.
I swear to God, if you go onto Etsy, there's so much cheap crap available out of Asia, and this is one of them.
That's made of chocolate, that, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's it weigh like, Pete? Because you put on as if like it was weighing pretty heavy, but I'm sure it's super light.
Mate, honestly, it's got some good weight. It's got some good weight.
Oh, love that, mate.
Yeah, it's solid.
It looks like 1966 there, mate, for a second with the old retro on.
Well, I think it's
it just needs to be red. Just needs to be red.
I think it's 1970 something. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, chaps. I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. Other than that, the only thing I wanted to say is, again, massive thank you to all of you for being involved. An enormous thank you to Vincere. I swear to God, I won't you know, talk about numbers, but the amount of money that they've chucked into this event to make this possible and to make sure that the most possible money goes to Eat Up and to Hungry Kids is honestly beyond generous. I couldn't have done it without Vincere. So I'm super, super grateful to those guys. And I just hope everybody comes along on the day and has a massive laugh and a great amount of fun and play some beautiful football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for organising. It's amazing.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. Right, James. We'll see you on Friday the 4th. Paul and Simon, we'll see you on Friday.
Good luck, James. Good luck, Paul. See you soon.
Good luck.
Take care.
See you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.